What actor or actress has won the most Academy Awards for their performances? You might think Jack Nicholson, who's won 3, or Meryl Streep, who's also won 3. You might think Frances McDormand, who's won 4 Academy Awards to date, 3 of which were for acting. But the only person to win 4 Academy Award statuettes for 4 individual screen performances is still the one and only Katharine Hepburn. She won 2 of her Oscars back-to-back in the late 1960s, first for Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and second for The Lion in Winter, the later award she famously tied with Barbra Streisand. She won her final Oscar in 1982 for her exceptional performance in On Golden Pond, her co-star Henry Fonda also taking the Best Actor award that night. The Katharine Hepburn Oscar win most people forget about, I would argue, is the first one. If you had to guess, you might think her inaugural Academy Award was for one of her earlier famous movies, like The Philadelphia Story from 1940, The African Queen from 1951, or maybe Long Day's Journey into Night from 1962. There was Woman of the Year, Alice Adams. She was nominated for all those performances, and rightfully so, but in a stunning career that netted her a whopping 12 Oscar nominations total, she actually won her first Academy Award the first time she was nominated, in 1934, for her lead performance in the romantic drama Mourning Glory, co-starring Douglas Fairbanks Jr. What was it about this early Hepburn performance that got her all the way to an Oscar victory? And did she actually show up to accept her prize? In this video, I'm going to discuss the 6th Academy Awards and talk about Katharine Hepburn's first big win for Best Actress, along with her stunning career in 1930s Hollywood. First, let's discuss the ceremony itself. The 6th Academy Awards took place at the Ambassador Hotel in Los Angeles on March 16, 1934. The ceremony was hosted by Will Rogers, and it celebrated films released between August 1, 1932 and December 31, 1933, making this the last time in the 20th century that the Oscars eligibility period was spread out over 2 different calendar years, and also the longest time frame ever at 17 months. This was the last time that no film had more than 4 nominations total, as well as the only year in Academy Awards history in which no film other than the Best Picture nominees received multiple nominations. In addition, Walt Disney became the first person to win consecutive Oscars, winning Best Short Subject Cartoon for Three Little Pigs, after having won the same award in 1932 for Flowers and Trees. One new category was introduced this year, Best Assistant Director, a category that would be retired just a few years later. Oddly, at the 6th Academy Awards, 7 assistant directors were awarded, with another 11 people nominated. I'm not sure what was intended by introducing this category, but it was kind of a mess. Best Original Story went to One Way Passage, and Best Adaptation went to Little Women, another film starring Katharine Hepburn in the role of Jo March. A Farewell to Arms won both Best Sound Recording and Best Cinematography, and Best Art Direction went to Cavalcade, that ceremony's winner for Best Picture. In a previous video, I talked about how 1931's Cimarron is often considered one of the worst movies to ever win the Oscar for Best Picture. Another 1930s film that also appears on Worst Picture win lists is 1933's Cavalcade, about the triumphs and tragedies of 2 English families. Like Cimarron, it only has a 5.9 user rating on IMDb, and is barely fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with a 65%. But audiences and Academy voters like the movie enough to give it the Best Picture prize, over nominated films I would argue have had more staying power throughout the years, like Little Women, 42nd Street, and the remarkable I Am a Fugitive from a Chain Gang, one of my favorite movies of all time. Cavalcade won Best Director too, for Frank Lloyd, his second Oscar after his win a few years prior for The Divine Lady. The moment Will Rogers presented Lloyd his award for Cavalcade, some confusion fell into the room immediately when he opened the envelope and shouted, "Come and get it, Frank!" You see, one of the other 2 nominees for Best Director that year was Frank Capra for the film Lady for a Day. Both Lloyd and Capra thought they had won, so they both started making their way up to the stage. Best Actor went to the great Charles Laughton for his performance in The Private Life of Henry VIII. He beat out Leslie Howard for Berkeley Square and Paul Muni for his electric turn and I'm a Fugitive from a Chain Gang. Lawton would go on to be nominated for his performances in 1935's Mutiny on the Bounty and 1957's Witness for the Prosecution. That takes us finally to Best Actress. Before we talk about Katharine Hepburn, first let's discuss the other two nominees. May Robson received a nomination for her role as Apple Annie in Frank Capra's Lady for a Day. Also nominated for Best Picture, the film tells of a gangster who tries to make Apple Annie, the Times Square apple seller, the kind of lady she's never been before.
Good night, Mother. You don't mind my calling you Mother, do you?
I just love it, son.
Thank you.
This was Robson's only Oscar nomination in a career of more than 60 credits, including 1937's A Star is Born and 1938's Bringing Up Baby. Born in 1858, she was the earliest born woman ever to be nominated for an Academy Award, and the first Australian to be nominated as well. She started acting on stage as early as 1883, and in 1927 she went to Hollywood, beginning a successful film career as a senior woman. Also receiving a Best Actress nomination at the 6 Academy Awards was Diana Wynyard for her performance as Jane in Cavalcade. Playing one half of an upper-class couple, Wynyard managed, like Robson, her only Oscar nomination, this being one of her few film credits in a career that was more prolific on the stage.
Everyone's been saying that for months. My brother's still out there dying by inches. Starvation, disease, and horror.
Her other film credits included Reunion in Vienna from 1933 and the 1940 version of Gaslight, later remade with Ingrid Bergman. In 1953, Wynyard was appointed Commander of the Order of the British Empire, and she retired from acting a few years after that. The other nominee for Best Actress was also this woman's first in the category. As it would turn out, her first of 12 Oscar nominations in a long and glorious career that lasted from the 1930s to the 1990s. In Mourning Glory, Katharine Hepburn plays an innocent, aspiring actress named Eva, who arrives on the Broadway scene and is taken under the wing of several theater directors.
Oh, that doesn't matter so long as it's quiet and we can sit and smoke. I smoke, of course, though in Franklin it still isn't done in the best families. They're very bourgeois in Franklin and provincial. The soul has no liberty in such a place. Why, in Franklin, my family wouldn't have permitted Shakespeare himself to call on me because he was a married man.
The film was adapted by Howard J. Green from a then unproduced stage play and was directed by Lowell Sherman. Sherman managed to get the RKO bosses to agree that he was given a week of rehearsal with the actors before the shooting began, in return for promising a shooting schedule of only 18 days. Katharine Hepburn was paid $2,500 per week for only her third role in a movie, after 1932's A Bill of Divorcement and 1933's Christopher Strong. Hepburn's acting career got started in 1928, when she left college to join a stock theater company. She appeared in plays for a number of years, and then her breakthrough was The Warrior's Husband, which ran for 3 months on Broadway in early 1932, and for which Hepburn received lots of glowing reviews. A scout for the Hollywood agent Leland Hayward spotted her appearance in the play and asked her to screen test for a part in A Bill of Divorcement for director George Cukor. Offered the role, Hepburn demanded $1,500 a week, a large amount at that time for an unknown actress, and RKO head David O. Selznick said he took a tremendous chance in casting her. She arrived in California in July 1932 at 25 years old, and although she struggled to adapt to the film medium at first, she was fascinated by the industry, and A Bill of Divorcement turned out to be well received. On the strength of the film, RKO signed her to a long-term contract, and Hepburn went on to make 9 more movies with George Cukor. Hepburn's second film, Christopher Strong, wasn't very successful, but the reviews of her performance were good, and then it was Mourning Glory, which confirmed her as a major Hollywood actress. Her role of Eva was intended for Constance Bennett, but Hepburn saw the script on producer Pandro Berman's desk and was convinced the role should be hers.
Like many people, I looked around at the various and sundry papers on the table and read them, and I saw this thing by Zoe Akins called Mourning Glory, and I started to read it, and I thought, my gosh. And I said to the secretary, cancel the date with Pandro, and I took my friend Laura out. We broke the script in half, and I read it, and then I came back, and I said to Pandro, you have a script on your desk, and I want to do it. And he said, that script is for Connie Bennett. And I said, over my dead body, it's for Connie Bennett. She was the big star on the lot, and sweet to me, always nice. And, but I said, does she know anything about it? He said, no. I said, it's got to be mine. Mine. So it was.
The film was a hit, and reviews of Hepburn's performance were glowing. She was similarly praised later the same year for her role of Jo in Little Women, one of the biggest industry successes at that time. For Little Women, Hepburn won the Best Actress prize at the Venice Film Festival, and she reportedly said at one point later on, "I defy anyone to be as good as Jo as I was." But it wasn't Little Women, a film nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars, that Katharine Hepburn got recognized for in the Best Actress category. It was her performance in Mourning Glory. I wonder if this happened because Little Women had such a large ensemble, and in Mourning Glory, Hepburn is the whole show. Regardless, she was going to be nominated for something in 1934, and her charismatic turn in Mourning Glory gave viewers an early glimpse of the iconic movie star Hepburn had, in a sense, already become. She of course did not attend the 6 Academy Awards to collect her Best Actress trophy, although she was reportedly thrilled about her win. Hepburn famously never attended the Oscars on any of her 12 nominations, was never there to give a speech on any of her 4 wins. She once said, "Prizes are nothing. My prize is my work." She only attended the Oscars once, in 1974, to present the Irving G. Thalberg Award to her friend, the producer Lawrence Weingarten.
I am naturally deeply moved. I'm also very happy that I didn't hear anyone call out, "It's about time." I am the living proof that a person can wait 41 years to be unselfish.
Although Hepburn would be nominated for one more Oscar shortly thereafter her first win for her performance in 1935's Alice Adams, the releases of Mourning Glory and Little Women marked the height of her popularity in films in the 1930s. In the later part of the decade, she became known by many higher-ups in Hollywood as box office poison, when many of her films, like Mary of Scotland, Bringing Up Baby, and Holiday, all underperformed. It would take 1940's Sublime, The Philadelphia Story, co-starring Cary Grant and the Oscar-winning James Stewart, to finally put Katharine Hepburn back on top. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below, what is your favorite Katharine Hepburn film performance? And which one of her Oscar wins do you like the best? See you next time.